Hello and welcome to this week's video. So today we're going to have a look at Dell Mapback Paperbacks. Now these vintage paperbacks came out in the 1940s and they're called mapbacks by collectors because, well, they have a map on the back of the book. Now, it's a bit of a gimmick, but I absolutely love these. I've got quite a few to show you and that's going to be today's video. So let's get to it. So this is our first Dell Mapback. Now this is the earliest one that I've got. It's number 25, and you see Dell had this very distinctive logo. Now most of these Dell Mapbacks are crime novels, although they did publish some westerns, a few romance, a few film tie-ins, even like an oddball thing like a book of jokes and a crossword book. However, this predominantly they're crime and mystery novels. Now this number 25 with the eye looking through the keyhole is what the crime novels are like, and you see it's replicated on the spine as well. And also they're numbered, so this is number 25. And this is the first of the actual maps. So a very distinctive house style on these, and basically what the maps would do, they point out locations that happened actually within the novel. So there's a real mixture of these. Sometimes they're very specific, like a house. Sometimes they could be a whole continent or a city. So as we work our way through, we'll have a look at these. Now this is the earliest one I've got. Now the series kicked off in 1943, so right during the war, and they're often not dated. But this one it just says copyright 1940-41, but they actually started in 43. So anyway, that's the first one, Speak No Evil. One thing to point out, this is one of the laminated covers. You can see it's sort of reflective and shiny. They didn't all come laminated, and some of them have had their laminates removed over the years, so those ones are a little bit more fragile. So this one here is number, oh, that's jumping the gun a little bit. I'll try and do these in chronological order in my collection. So this is actually number 39 is my next one. Murder challenges Valcour, Rufus King, whoever he was. You'll notice there's like a distinctive art style on these, which is like airbrush. So it's an underwater adventure. So that's the map on that one. Islands in the West Indies, scene of the murder in the Lesser Antilles case. So that's quite good. This next one is number 40, case of Jeannie Bryce, Mary Roberts Reinhardt. So once again, nice airbrushed cover. This one's got a map of Pittsburgh, where this book's been sent. It's Penn Station there, point number 5. Now, a lot of these maps were designed by a lady, and she designed 140 of them. But the actual cover artwork, even though it's like got quite a distinctive house style, was done by about 8 or 9 different artists over the years, just doing the airbrushing ones. And then there was others again who came in just to do other similar styles. Now this one's a little bit more worn. The thing with Dell Mapbacks, they only produced the Mapbacks for about 10 years. And it was, certainly regarded as a bit of a gimmick. But when you think what else was around in the States at this time, these must have really stood out. And consequently, the print runs on them are massive. And you can get them, they are around. However, buying an odd volume here or there, particularly if it's one of the more collectible authors, such as Dashiell Hammett or Agatha Christie, can become expensive. Now, if you're in the UK, such as I am, these hardly ever turn up. A few were definitely imported because I've found a couple, in the wild, as they say, in secondhand bookshops, at boot sales and things like that, but in jumble sales. But it's rare. I think I've maybe found a handful over the years. Where I've managed to pick up most of my collection, I got a few little job lots off eBay, and then at the London Paperback Show, where it's there's not much in the way of vintage paperback shows in Britain, but that's a particularly good one. It's on at least once a year up in London, and the last time I picked up any sort of sizable amount was at that London Paperback Show. So I can recommend you get to that. It's usually in September, October at the Bedford Hotel in London. Here we are, number 84 now. So this one is a laminated AA Fair, which is J.J. Marrick. One thing I didn't particularly like with Dell books, and it wasn't just the map books, but in a lot of books, American editions in particular, is that the books are actually abridged, so you don't get the full novel. And I've never thought, if I'm going to read a book, I want to read the full novel. I don't want to read an abridgment of it. They're not as bad as, say, like the Reader's Digest, but they are, on the whole, abridgments, and they're not the full novel, with some exceptions, of course. Number 95 here. So The Last Express, scene of the murder, the Heidi Ho nightclub, scene of a murder in The Last Express. So you sort of get the idea. And these were really, really good. I mean, it is, I know it's a gimmick, but they're such fun to collect. When you think these are getting on a bit in years now. The earliest ones, the early 40s. So these are coming up to 75, 80 years old. Now this is something a bit different. This is actually a romance one. So Now Voyager, and you'll see the logo's got a heart in it to represent the romance. So it says Dell Romance on the front. This one also laminated. Still got the map on the back there. So picture map showing the points of interest in Now Voyager. So New York, Boston, the Azores, Gibraltar. So they went all over on that one. That's pretty nice nick, that one as well. Let's try and keep these all in frame if I can. And this is number 107, Deadly Truth, Helen McCloy. Blessing Born, scene of the murder again in the Deadly Truth. It's about halfway. That's one of my favourites, Footprints on the Ceiling. Really good, that one. It's one of the earliest ones I ever got, was this one. It's really nice condition. And when did this one come out? So this is number 121 now. Let's see if there is a publishing date of any sort inside. 1939, by the look of it. Sorry, not 19, that must have been when it was first published. There isn't actually a date for this one, but I'm imagining this is around 1945 by now, approximately. Just pop those over there and we'll make a second pile. The Visitor, this is another crime one, number 132. Cunningham House. Not such a good map back there. Literally this, the Cunninghams and Woods House and a car. That's literally it. So someone knocked that map back up in their lunch break, to be honest, because that's not a particularly good one. Although the cover was nice. Wives to Burn, Lawrence Blockman. Nice one there, lovely cover. That's nice. The Lady is Afraid, number 147, a little bit out of the corner there. Another crime one. Map of the house there. The Black Birder, Dorothy Hughes. Poppins Place, scene of the murder again. I guess they're getting a bit formulaic even by this point. However, they're still great. The Wall, that's quite a thick one, this, so maybe this isn't unabridged, but really this is the thickest one so far. Number 166. Island Diagram, scene of the murders in the Wall. So this is a bit more detailed, so there's a little bit more there, the cliff edge there. That's certainly one of the better maps on that one, and quite a big one as well. Quite a long old novel, that one. This is The Great Black Camber. I remember this one, yeah. And they do make a big thing about with crime map on the back. And this is basically a map of Australia, so the action takes place all across that continent. So they've just put the whole map on, which is cool. That's all right. Probably an easy one for them to knock out. Just copy the map. This is another, I think this might have been the very first Dell Mapback that I got, which is Murder Is My Business, Burt Halliday. Very popular in America, this author, but not so much over here. This map shows El Paso. So one of my favourite authors, Agatha Christie. These are quite scarce and collectible. This is not the greatest of copies, but I'm just glad to get it. Secret of the Chimneys. They did do a few Agatha Christie novels, did Dell, in the States. Sometimes they changed the titles. So I think they did the ABC Murders. It came out as the Alphabet Murders, for example. But certainly of interest to Agatha Christie collectors, that one. Q for Murder, Helen McCloy. Now, the really distinctive covers, these would have stood out. If you can imagine it on the rack, and you saw that would have stood out, and you would have picked it up and thought, what is all that about? So that one, not a great map back again, set actually in a theatre, this story. So got the stage door and what have you behind the theatre, and then actually on the stage itself. So a bit more of an unusual map back, that one, hence the title Q for Murder. Murder on Angler's Island. Nice glossy one, this, so that the laminate is intact. Monmouth in Grounds. So this is quite a bit more. There's a bit more. This is like a map within a map. That one there. So it's quite nice. They've actually taken a bit of time on that one. I think this is one interest. Now this, for some reason, seems to be perhaps the most common map back, because I remember the cover and it seemed to turn up all the time. So maybe it's had a massive print run and then didn't sell very well. Who can tell? But yeah, it seems to be quite a common one. That. There's a couple more to go now. So we got Kelly Ruse, Ghost of a Chance. It's again crime one again with a crime map back. 266. So this is, I've seen this before, but this is basically Manhattan, and they've, it's taken, I guess it must be really tying very exactly to the story, because the information is up by Central Park and down across Second Avenue there. Quite a detailed map, that particular one. And then the last one we're going to look at today is The Body Missed the Boat by Jack Iams. Once again, back to one of those airbrushed covers. And this one, it's basically in Jamaica, the main story, and then also inside the house, Hilary Judd's house. And that's all the map backs we've got today. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed that look at these vintage Dell map backs as much as I did. I absolutely love these books, as I guess you got from the video. So I've got about this many again, about another 25, 30 in the collection, which I would like to show you. So we'll do that in another video soon. So don't forget to please like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you soon for more vintage paperbacks. Bye.